Welcome back to KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. Proudly sponsored and underwritten by the Ewing, Marion, Kauffman Foundation and produced by Charitable Communications. I am Bobby Keys.
And I'm Ruth Bombigas. And it's great to be together but apart.
Yes, together.
You know,
and apart. I think there's a TV show there. It's got. It's almost like. Yeah.
There you go. And you know what? When somebody listens to these podcasts 10 years from now, they're going to go, "What?"
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be in space pods. I don't know.
Ooh,
but for now,
yes.
We'll be in space. But we're together.
Nonprofits in space. There we go.
Nonprofits in space. There you go. But now we're going to talk about a nonprofit that's down to earth, but doing astronomical things. How's that for a space analogy? And it's the Mission Project. And with us is Michael Belancio.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ruth.
Good afternoon. You are a member and a volunteer of the Mission Project.
I am. I cycled off the board of directors at the end of December of last year, and I am still intimately involved with the organization because my brother, Tom, is a participant in the program and a recipient of many of their services.
So share with us what the Mission Project is dedicated to doing.
Well, that's a simple question and a very complicated answer. I will try to give you the thumbnail version. Basically, it is designed to provide adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities a critical mass so that they can live independently and safely in the community with individualized supports and still have that critical mass of peers around so that they're not isolated. And like one of the most important things for my brother is it seemed very artificial at first, being stuck together in various programs. But from that artificial putting people together, there have become organic friendships where my brother and his friends will call each other on Friday night and they'll go out on the town and they light up Mission, Kansas, and they have their favorite spots, and it's kind of interesting because now I walk through Mission, Kansas, and people go, "Aren't you Tom's brother?" And he's got his own identity in that manner. So it's kind of a real interesting phenomena of what my brother's gotten out of the Mission Project.
How did this all begin?
Well, back in 2004, and we are on the cusp of going from our 15th year of existence to our 16th year of existence. Back in 2004, several families got together and said, you know what? Our adult children with disabilities are in our houses. We're all running around doing all these activities. There's got to be a better way of doing it. So 3 or 4 families got together, and I was not one of them. And they started the Mission Project, and the first participant moved into their apartment in the summer of 2004. All of the participants live in their own apartments. We don't own a facility. Everyone rents from landlords and the general public. They're all within a few blocks of each other. They pay their rent. They work. They do all the things that adults without cognitive disabilities do. And at the beginning, everything was run by parents of adults with cognitive disabilities, or IDD, as they call it in common parlance. And we turned a corner from a mom and pop organization to something that's a little more professionalized, but still has family involvement. And it's kind of interesting when I look back to the beginnings of this program, if you look at the research, 70% of adults with cognitive disabilities are living with their parents, which is not, the greatest thing in the world for independence. And then beyond that, a large number of that other 30% are institutionalized. So this is kind of this narrow spectrum of adults who do have cognitive disabilities, but with just the right amount of supports, they can live independently in the general community. They are not segregated. So it's kind of a real beautiful thing. And if you don't mind me segueing, I can tell you the story about how my brother Tom came to be part of the Mission Project, too.
Absolutely.
Tom and I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I had moved to Kansas City right after I finished law school in 1998. In 2012, I got a phone call from my brother Tom. Tom has autism, and so he, the amount of words he uses at any given time aren't a lot. And this phone call, I heard silence. I saw it was my mother's phone number. And out of the silence came a very short sentence of, "It's getting to be a bit too much, buddy." And then silence. And, I knew that was a big cry for help from a man with autism reaching out like that. That was a big cry for help from him. And within a few days, I went to Philadelphia. And interestingly enough, my wife had an article about the Mission Project that I carried out there, showed to my mother, and used it to convince her that, you know what, just like the founders of the Mission Project, they let their adult children, maybe shouldn't be treated like children anymore, and maybe, Mom, time to cut the apron strings. And we moved Tom out here from Philadelphia specifically to participate in the Mission Project. And I'll tell you, it has been a godsend. This program, the nutrition, the exercise, the community, the problem-solving skills programming. Tom was my best man at my wedding at 2000. Couldn't get a word out at the speech. And today, he's in acting class. He stands up in front of several hundred people and delivers lines. His confidence, and his resilience in living in his own apartment is just beautiful. And the man is so happy, it brings tears to my eyes when I see the level of happiness that he's obtained. Where in Philadelphia, he lived in my mother's basement. He was depressed. People targeted him as a victim of crime. I mean, it's just night and day. And he wouldn't have the life he has today without the supports that the Mission Project gives him.
So what kinds of programs or activities does Mission Project do?
Well, there are kind of two classes of programs. One are kind of our core programs. The signature program called Problem Solvers, it had a sister program called Community Strong, and they're kind of merged together because our participants said, you know what, this isn't all about solving problems. This is about us living together, in close relation with each other. So in Problem Solvers, they get together, they discuss, just daily social living situations and how to navigate those where they may be lacking the actual navigation skills. And right now, it's even more important than ever because a bunch of the social skills that our participants have been learning and getting reinforced, such as those with autism that, like my brother, one of the prompting that he's been getting for years is get in there and give that person a handshake when you meet them. Now we have to get the program has had to take kind of a 180 in some regards. And, hey, we've got different social prompts going on now just due to COVID. You can't do the same social prompts we've been teaching you for the last 8 years, or for all of your life, for that matter, even before you came to the Mission Project. But things are changed now, and so a whole new level of learning has had to go on in a very short period of time.
How are you able to do this and provide these kind of programs like a Problem Solvers?
Well, right now during COVID, is that the question?
Well, during COVID and in general, I mean, those kinds of things cost money and take experts. So kind of operationally, how does that work?
Well, for years, our program director has been an occupational therapist. Right now, we actually just put up an ad for a new program director. We've got an interim one running the programming right now due to COVID and everything that happened. We've got an interim in there at the moment. But basically, yes, it costs money. We need people that are not just skilled with their vocation, but also skilled in delivering the services of that vocation to the population with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which, it has its own twist. And, there's that saying that you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because they're all individuals. Every single one of our participants is an individual with their own, personalities that you really need a skilled person to get in there. And problematically with COVID, our biggest fundraiser of the year was set on May 2nd, and due to the stay-at-home orders, we couldn't hold it. So we're really behind the 8 ball this year.
So with that kind of challenge, what are you all looking at? I know you're off the board, but still very engaged.
Absolutely. We are obviously still looking to fill staff positions. We are attempting alternate means of fundraising. We haven't started some of them yet, but some of the letter writing campaign has been somewhat helpful. We've got some grant applications in. We've asked family members to contribute a little more, because families are still an important part of the entire Mission Project program. Families, used to control it. Now we don't control it so much, but we have some significant input. And so, it's moving from parents to families to professionalized. And because parents usually predecease their children. And so these adults with disabilities, their parents aren't going to be there. And we are in the process of making this a sustainable model. And this year is going to be real tricky with the funding. We could use every dollar rolling in, because we are well behind with our major fundraiser being canceled. And who knows when we're going to be able to hold our next one. It's social distancing. And with the social distancing, it's a lot of people may not even when things are fully opened up, may not feel comfortable coming to a large event such as our Kentucky Derby Gala. So even though the race is going to be run in September instead of May, we don't know that we're going to be able to put that event on this year.
Right. Well, if people want to help either financially or possibly volunteer-wise, best to go to your website?
Best to go to the website, and we apologize. The website is a hair out of date. We are part of the professionalizing is we're getting a fresh new look. So, just be on the lookout that it's going to be more up to date and fresher. But it is currently at themissionproject.org, and that'll give you all the information about our program, where to make a donation. And, it's just kind of really nice. And some of the facts are, like I said, you know, a little out of date. It talks about Mission Project 2, and, you know, it was the first replication of Mission Project, and we all decided that, you know what, we were stronger together, so we merged everything and have a bigger, better, and better organization providing a higher quality of service for our participants. And right now, I mean, we've had to switch to Zoom for problem solvers.
Well, thank goodness for Zoom, and thank goodness for what you all are doing, helping those who have intellectual disabilities. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure anytime.
And thank you for listening to Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, produced by Charitable Communications, proudly sponsored by the Ewing, Marion, Kauffman Foundation. To be a guest on Casey Cares or for underwriting opportunities, please visit CaseyCaresOnline.org. Spread the love and find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the above at Casey Cares Online. And thank you for listening to Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice.
Inspired by Ewing, Marion, Kauffman, the Kauffman Foundation believes that every person, regardless of their background, should have the opportunity to learn, to take risks, and to own their success. Working together with our Kansas City community and beyond, we take on approaches that break down barriers, providing people with the necessary skills throughout life to make or take a job and ultimately give back to their community. By listening to the communities we serve, tap into our learnings and relationships, and bring everyone together to build and support programs that improve education, boost entrepreneurship, and help Kansas City thrive. Learn more at Kauffman.org.